Hey everybody, welcome back. It's been a couple of weeks since we've had a chance to get together. I trust that you had a good holiday and you were able to spend time with the ones you love, and I trust that you were safe, and I hope that 2018 is a fantastic year for all of you. I appreciate the subscriptions and likes and comments that I'm getting, and I'm more than happy to reciprocate that. Before we get started, seems like I am probably pushing my artwork on you, and there's a good reason for that, and that's because I am pushing my artwork on you. And today I was in my car eating lunch, not today, a couple of days ago, and a song came on the radio that I believe is now going to be, and will continue to be, one of the greatest rock anthems of all. Not unlike Led Zeppelin's Black Dog, not unlike Bob Seger's rock and roll music, not unlike The Who's Won't Get Fooled Again. And I am talking about a song from one of my favorite groups, Carry On My Wayward Son by Kansas. And so I brought out the old trusty Sharpie and decided to do some injustice to John Brown. And of course this is Kansas, of course, what it looks like on the map. And as a young fella, I always looked at it and thought to myself, Kansas looks like a sandwich that somebody was nibbling on and decided they didn't like it. Maybe that's a metaphor for my state. Just kidding, just kidding. But I hope you like the drawing. Today I'm going to show you some records that are off the beaten path, some really unusual items. And we're going to start with some 10-inch 45s. First of all, this is the Cramps Blues Fix. I love the Cramps. And this particular album, they actually do a cover of a Ry Cooder song, Hardworking Man. And this album here is on black vinyl, so there's really not much to show there. But I have another 10-inch that is on a beautifully colored vinyl. This is from Dwarves. This is Fake ID Bitch. I apologize for using that word, but that's what it's called. And from what I hear, the Dwarves, I think they're from Chicago, Illinois, have some very interesting on-stage antics, which I'm dying to see. Kind of like G.G. Allen, if any of you are familiar with him. There's a lot of documentaries out there and DVDs containing his on-stage antics. Just be sure you're not eating when you see him, if you know what I mean. This here is on this purple vinyl. And some of the names of the members of the group. We have He Who Cannot Be Named, Gregory Pecker. And I wonder if that's a play on words with the Frank Zappa song Gregory Peccary. Clint Torres, Fresh Prince of Darkness, Chip Fracture, Wrecks Everything. Just kind of a fun band. This is probably the most sedate album cover I can show you by this group. I've got a collection of all their albums over here, and I'm not going to show them to you. They're not for regular consumption. But one of these days I might get them together and have an adult-only compilation of some of the albums. I don't know anything about this. This is a Mercury EP of Air Liquide. Just got this on a whim, one of my blind buys. It's on beautiful transparent vinyl. 2-disc set. Rob Zombie. This is my main man. He is the Frank Frazetta of the music world, okay? He's a true artist, and a very good songwriter, singer, musician, movie director. He has it all. This here is Dead City Radio, and it's I think it's a limited edition, but I'm not sure which number I have. Yeah, I don't think there's any numeration to this. But let's take a look at the beautifully red vinyl on that. Then we have France Nicolet, Saint Sebastian of the Short Stage. Hadn't heard of this person before. Very good singer, plays the accordion. And the last time I heard an accordion on a really big song was way, way back in the 80s when Paul Simon released his Graceland album, and there was a song called The Boy in the Bubble. And I think the accordion is an underappreciated instrument, but they're on clear vinyl. So I'm going to do some more research about this person and see if I can get some more of the vinyl. because I really enjoyed his voice. Back in the 70s, we have the 7th album and the last album Alice Cooper would do with his original band. This is Alice Cooper's Muscle of Love. It comes in a cardboard box. You know, back in the day, record producers spared no option. I mean, the sky was the limit on what they would do for packaging, and we don't see much of that anymore. If you look carefully, you can see that there's some staining at the bottom of this record. That's part of the packaging, and it's a very good record if you like Alice Cooper. And I'm not sure how rare it is, but it is unusual. Somebody please tell me what in the world this is. Roy Wood was one of the co-founders of the Electric Light Orchestra. His first solo album, I think, was called Mustard. And the cover on that album was a drawing he did of himself playing the bagpipe. I don't know if this is a mini poster of what the album cover was supposed to look like. I don't know if this is a copy of this 45 from that single, Mustard. I just ended up getting this on eBay. Paid a huge amount of money to get it, just to have it. But it's very, very unusual, striking cover. So if anybody knows more about what's going on, then let me know. This coming up is something I just cannot believe I have. This is one of the rarest things in my collection. This is Stevie Nicks, and this is called Uncirculated Rumors. It's a bootleg, 3-record set, and I remember seeing this years ago at a used record store. It was $10, and I couldn't afford it. And then recently, I was talking to a friend, and he said, I think I know where you can get this record. And I got it, and I paid more than $10, but I'm glad to have it. 3-record set. Let's open this up. And it contains songs Castaway, Silver Springs piano demo, Rhiannon acoustic piano demo, Mistaken Love, Rhiannon Mistaken Love Again, Sleeping Angel piano demo, Sarah all piano demo, and Castaway. On this particular disc, last of the Uncirculated Rumors, we have The Battle of the Dragon with Tom Petty, After the Glitter Fades, Crying in the Night, The Kind of Woman, I Sing for Things, Blue Lamp, Silver Springs, April 77, Kansas City. And I believe this album was released in 77. And on the third disc, we have Forest of the Black Roses, 2 versions of that, Blue Water, Think About It, If You Ever Did Believe, Smile at You, Leather and Lace with Don Henley, For You on the 3 Birds of Rhiannon. Okay, so I'm so happy to have this as part of my collection. If any of you have this, I think it's really super rare. And let me know what you think about it. Coming up, we have from solo album from Roger Waters of Pink Floyd. This is The Pros and Cons of Hitchhiking. This is the cover that was banned. I guess it's because she's showing her little bum. And the copies that you buy now have a little red band across that. And it's a pretty interesting record if you like Pink Floyd. Here we have the Rolling Stones, Sticky Fingers. Great record. And this one, the zipper actually works. Whoa! I feel weird about touching a man's zipper, but this zipper actually works. And it was a kind of one of those great gimmick album covers. It is one of the bluesiest Rolling Stones album I've ever heard. I love it, and I highly recommend it. Now, in the country of Spain, they were offended by this album cover, so they had another album cover in which there's some fingers coming out of a jar of blood. How is that less offensive than this? That's what I want to know. But if you get a chance, check it out. And speaking of Rolling Stones, we have another cover, another album that's controversial for 2 reasons. This is Some Girls. This cover was controversial because you can see there are some celebrities on it. We have Raquel Welch, Lucille Ball, Marilyn Monroe. Now, I did some research. Now, trust me, research isn't perfect. It's just research. So if I'm wrong, please forgive me. But what I learned is that one of the celebrities on this cover saw her face on the cover, listened to the album, and was not happy. So they changed the cover. I don't have the album, but I have the CD, to this more colorful version, but as you can see, the celebrity faces are missing. By the way, I think Abco and some other companies have been releasing some of the Rolling Stones on CD in these beautiful gatefold albums. I'm sorry, CDs. And since I'm at it, I'll show you the other ones I have. This is Made in the Shade. Beggar's Banquet. Every time I think about that title and I look at that cover, I get sick to my stomach. And there's the gatefold to that. Get your yayas out. Once again, beautiful gatefold CD. And the masterpiece, Let It Bleed. And since I'm on the subject of Rolling Stones, let's get away from vinyl just for a little bit. This is the box set, the Rolling Stones in mono. It has a magnetic latch, and it's got mini LPs of the early stuff, including a booklet. And I really, really enjoy listening to this. If you're a Rolling Stones fan, no household should be without this. Now let's get back to the vinyl. The second reason why this album was controversial is because many fans complained that the Rolling Stones went disco on this album. The song Miss You, okay, maybe so, but it's just that song, and it could be more disco too than I think was disco. Back in '78, when this was released, there was a lot of animosity, and I'm not going to say between, but there was a lot of animosity toward disco music. There were many rock DJs getting on the air and talking about disco sucks, take your disco albums and burn them, blah, blah, blah. Whereas the disco people were simply going to Club 54, getting high, and shaking their booties. But I think that this animosity probably did a favor for both disco and rock. It kind of gave them both some attention, and it kind of elevated both musics. And disco just went off the charts. However, disco died, and rock and roll lived on. However, it's my opinion that disco really didn't die. I think disco morphed into dance, techno, trance, club, house, schmouse, douse, whatever you call it now. It just took on a different form. But I was one of those people who liked rock and disco. And I don't see why other people couldn't do the same thing. There were some really great songs in this album. When the Whip Comes Down, Beast of Burden, and Shattered. I used to not like Shattered, and I still don't like it. But there's something interesting about that song. It's the only Rolling Stone song that I will actually spontaneously quote. You know, go ahead, bite the big apple, don't bite the maggots. To live in this town, you must be tough, 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 tough. I'm shattered, my brains be battered, splattered all over Manhattan. I mean, clever lyrics like that pop up into my head all the time. And I think subliminally that I'd like Shattered. So if you get a chance, check out Some Girls. This is not necessarily super rare, but this is Bob Seger System's early album, Mongrel. What makes this one exceptionally rare for me is that it's a what do you call it, promo. And we're used to hearing songs from him like Main Street and Fire Lake and Against the Wind, Night Moves, some of his softer ballads. But this album right here is hit you in the stomach, slap you in the face, take your wallet from you, hard rock. Really good stuff. I think this came out in '74 or something like that. But check it out. That's Mongrel. Not such a rare album, but it's kind of a funny story about this. This is Sandy Nelson. From a distance, I thought this was a girl band. So I grabbed it thinking it was going to be like the Supremes. And then I took a closer look and I thought, oh, the triplets? Really? And then I took a closer look. Same girl. Idiot. Sandy Nelson, however, is a drummer. And this is just an album of some songs from the 60s. Kind of fun to listen to. I just thought I'd throw that in. 1969, we have Fairport Convention's Unhalf Bricking. Don't look up the word unhalf bricking in the dictionary. It's not there. There was a game they played when they were on tour called Ghost, where you kind of invent words. I'm not sure how it works, but they came up with Unhalf Breaking. Sandy Denny and Richard Thompson are on this album. That's Sandy Denny's parents, and there's the group back there. They do some Bob Dylan, unreleased Bob Dylan songs in this. It's a wonderful album. And this particular record is in pristine condition, but it's on Carthage, the Carthage label. So that leads me to believe it was a 1984-1985 reissue. Okay, we're getting down to it. I don't have any children's albums in my house, but I have this one because it's so weird. This is The Wizard of Oz, and this is Tale Spinners for Children. Look at Dorothy. Oh, where's Dorothy? She looks like she's getting ready to kill somebody. But I'm going to try to get all the rest of theirs because the covers are really cool. Oops, dropping stuff around here. Hang on a second. Sorry, this is live. There we go. This is reality, folks. Okay, I'm going to show you It's a Beautiful Day. I've showed you this record many times because I have many copies. But the reason why I'm bringing this up again is because this one's on the Columbia Red label. Everybody's used to seeing that. However, I also have It's a Beautiful Day on San Francisco Sound label, which I think is kind of rare, kind of beautiful. Last album I have to show you is Consequences by Cream and Godley, a very ambitious 3-record set released by what was one half of the quartet known as 10cc. While the other half, Stewart and Gouldman, were writing songs that had top 40 appeal, Cream and Godley were writing stuff that was very experimental, very artsy. And the result of this is this 3-record set, and you will never hear another record like this. It's just so ambitious and so unusual. Wasn't critically or commercially successful, but it will go down in history as kind of a remarkable feat. Cream and 10cc, Stewart and Gouldman were writing songs that, like I said, had top 40 appeal, like The Things We Do for Love, I'm Not in Love, Wall Street Shuffle, Art for Art's Sake, I'm Mandy Fly Me. And Cream and Godley, well, like I said, was doing experimental stuff. And 10cc, therefore, should have had a very uneven sound, but they didn't. I think that the combining of the two groups made their songs very unusual, very different, and launched them into superstardom, and they'll always be remembered that way as a great group. So I'm not suggesting that you go out and buy this. It's kind of expensive, but if you get a chance to listen to it online, there's one song in particular that stands out. It's called 5 o'clock in the morning, and it's a song simply about getting up in the morning, and it has a very dreamlike quality to it. And there's also another really good song in there called A Lost Weekend, in which jazz singer Sarah Vaughan shows up to do a duet with him. So it's kind of an unusual record, and I'm glad I have this. Okay, I think that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed what I had to offer to you today. Take care of one another, and I love each and every one of you. Bye.